They think I'm crazy.
Come in, Ray.
It is not I who am crazy.
Lightning never strikes twice in the same place.
I'd like to introduce Space Ghost.
Nice to meet me.
You with me? Like I said, you're the captain.
Prepare to surge to sublight speed.
Hold on to your butts.
And welcome, fellow Ghostbusters, to the 13th episode of Nate Has an Hour to Fill, Slime Edition.
That's pretty appropriate. I'd say 13 is a good number to do this one on.
Yes, I thought it worked out ironically or coincidentally very well.
Yeah. So for listeners, this was sort of over a year in planning. We'll just say that.
Yes.
We knew when Ghostbusters was going to come out, and we wanted to plan our 13th episode. That's not really what happened, but hey, you know what? It sounds good.
We'll just take the credit for that.
That's right. Well,
that's awesome.
Luck works. That's luck and skill. Huh?
Yes. Well, those of you who are listening, welcome. My name is Phil Mackey, and I'm the host and moderator on this episode. As you may or may not know, Nate Heberlein and I, we trade off duties for hosting and moderating every other episode. And I feel very fortunate tonight for the honors to have fallen upon me for my childhood and adulthood favorite movie of all time, with the side exception of Jurassic Park. But Ghostbusters came first, so I have to give it to Ghostbusters.
Well, that's a heavy honor, Phil. That's like a very weighted honor.
It is. I've waited
yes.
for this honor.
You've waited to bear this honor, right?
Yes. Whatever.
Well, that's a bear of a weight to bear.
It really is. I can't bear waiting any longer. So now,
that was just unbearable.
Right. Well, I'm very excited for this episode, Nate, because we have a lot to talk about, and we have a special guest joining us in just a few minutes.
Whoa! I'm excited. I'm excited.
I know.
And I don't even know what's to come, so this will be good.
Well, before we get to any of that, we're gonna start off actually doing a little show and tell, because you brought something for me.
I did.
And I have something waiting for the something that you brought to me, and we're going to talk about that. I don't know why I handed it to you, but I just
Well, that's
did.
okay. I can hand it to you on the air.
Yes.
And so
on the virtual air, or
that's
the
right.
non-visual air.
Let's go in chronological order. Why don't you
Yes.
Why don't you present first?
So, I don't have a lot of Ghostbusters merchandise.
Memorabilia?
Yeah, I guess that was the word I was looking for. I almost said paraphernalia, but that didn't sound right. So,
that's, we all enjoy Ghostbusters in a different way, but that's...
Well, some vaporous apparitions
right.
are more vaporous than others. So,
yes.
Wow, that's a fun way to start a show with the drug reference. And if you know me, I've never touched this stuff, so I have no business making references like that. But
Phil has a clean bill of health.
I have, yes. But what I do want to bring up is my no ghost symbol enameled pin that I made back in college, and this is something I still have to this day. And so I brought it out to have with us on the show. I don't know, just as a little floating no ghost symbol hanging out with us.
I think that's a great way to commemorate not only our 13th episode, which is some would consider lucky, others wouldn't. But to also commemorate exactly the theme of this one, which I've been waiting a long time to talk about this, because we've talked about lots of other movies or franchises that we've enjoyed growing up, like Jurassic Park or Star Wars, so this is exciting.
It is.
So I'll present next. It's very similar, only it's not enamel, but it's very similar. It's a pin that you can wear on your shirt,
as opposed to a pin that you can't wear.
Well, right, that's true. As opposed to a pin without a pointy thing on the back of it.
Not much of a pin.
Then it would just be a piece of metal, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would be a piece of metal.
All right. I stand corrected on that one.
Or it's Pinterest.
All right. Wow. Yes. So this is a no ghost pin. It's just a tiny. I don't know. It's about the size of the pins that you are doing for your
Looks a bit
right?
smaller.
Is it a little smaller?
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like it's about the size of a nickel.
Oh.
Right?
Maybe.
Between nickel and quarter?
Yeah, I'd say it's kind of halfway between a nickel and a quarter.
But quarter?
It's a
nickel.
It's not like you're trying to speak to me in a different tongue there.
I was speaking to you in Gozerian.
That's hauntingly beautiful there, Phil.
Yeah.
All right. So this...
I'm the slower.
I'm going to hand this... Good catch, Pac-Man. I'm going to hand this to you.
Thanks, man. So you got me a pin. I appreciate that.
I got you a pin.
That's nice of you.
And so...
and you're wearing one, too.
I was just going to say, I didn't mention that yet, but yeah, I'm also wearing an identical pin to the one that I just gave Phil, and so I figured this was a great time to show them off and to give Phil his present.
Thanks, man.
So, yeah.
Well, that's a good way to start off. And what have you been up to since we've last done a show? Because we haven't done a show in the entire month of July.
Yeah, because we did 2 in June, but our last one in June was, about halfway through, right? Yep. Because we did it kind of the 1st and the 15th sort-ish.
This is true.
And so, yeah, it's now halfway through July. My goodness.
More than halfway.
Yeah. It's 19th, 20th?
20th. Hey, it's July 20th, everyone.
In case you didn't know the date, which clearly we didn't.
Yeah.
Gosh, what have I been up to? Let's see here. I'm going to be going on a long distance bike ride here coming up soon.
Okay.
So I've been training for that.
That's cool. How long distance?
Well, so I told listeners about this was either last time or the time before that I'm training for a ride in September. Yeah. It's called the Tour de Kir. It's 157 miles.
Yes.
And it's a 2-day event and it's in September. This one is called the Hotter Than Hell 100 and it's a 100-mile bike ride.
All right.
And, it's 50 miles there and back, and there's rest stops, and there's probably gonna be about, I don't know, maybe anywhere between 15 and 20 of us, and it's a group that I'm a part of at my work actually.
Oh.
At where my day job, and so yeah, we're just gonna get together and.
You mean we don't make podcasts for a living and get paid for it?
Oh man, if only.
If that was the case, we'd have more episodes, I think.
That's right. Yes, if I could devote 40 hours a week to this show, believe me, I would.
Yeah,
but,
I would too. We'd have a show every day.
I was gonna say, yeah, it would be or a couple times a week. Yeah. But no, so I've been training for that, and I'm just working a lot, and I'm working a couple different jobs, so that's been occupying most of my time. What about you?
I have a convention next week in San Antonio.
Oh, which one?
It's called Texas Comic-Con.
Oh, okay.
And that's my first year doing that. And
are you going to be doing your drawing a blank?
No, no talk at that show.
Okay.
But just a regular convention, which I'm looking forward to. It's a 3-day show.
Oh, that's awesome. Wow! So it's not just a Saturday Sunday. It's a Friday.
It's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Wow!
I haven't done one of those since 2010, I want to say, or 2011 when I went to Wizard World Chicago.
I was going to say, I've never been to one of your conventions that you have a booth at that was a 3-day event. They've always just been 2 days.
There was either 1 or 2 days. Yeah. So we'll see what happens if it has the legs to stand on. So yeah, that's coming up next week. And then, it's moving forward on orientation.
Yeah. How's that coming along? Are you done yet, Phil?
No, but I did get a major page finished today, actually, so that's a good thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome. And you have something special on order, right?
Yeah, I do. That's for another show. So I've got a show coming up in August called Raw Artists, and the show is called Reveal. But I'll get that. We'll talk about that maybe later.
Is that going to be? We're going to postpone that?
Yeah, because that's not until August 25th.
And we're going to absolutely, wink, wink, have a show from now until then.
We will. Of course we'll have an episode.
It's not like we're going to be irresponsible and go almost 2 months without...
No, that never goes wrong.
Yeah.
So, on that note, we have some mail. Nate?
What?
Yes. Somebody sent us a letter.
I never get any mail.
Well, you didn't, but we did. But we did. So,
that's better than nothing, I guess.
Well, yeah. Somebody loves us. So this is about our previous episode. This is number 12.
Ooh, okay.
And it actually says that it was about that in the title of the email.
That was nice of them to tell us what this is referring to.
It says podcast number 12.
All right.
And this is from Barbara. And it says, congratulations on a dozen of podcasts you've produced. Shout out to Philip for killer jokes, Shout out to Mr. Nate for that funny laugh of his. Your podcasts have a good, uplifting vibe to them. You just get more motivated to clean and do laundry or dance from listening to them. That's quite a variety.
Well, I mean, I've never done laundry listening to our podcast, but I mean, hey, to each their own.
Maybe
right?
she's pulling a risky business thing. She's dancing while she's doing the laundry.
And cleaning at the same... Like, she's cleaning your laundry and dancing?
Maybe.
Like,
yeah. She's pulling like a Tony Danza thing.
That's right. I was just going to say that.
Like,
That's Tony Danza.
Oh, that was the boss right there. So she says, nice job entertaining America, gentlemen. And she goes, coconut soda from podcast number 12 sounds good. Thanks, bye. And that's from Barbara. So thanks, Barbara.
All right. Thank you, Barbara. Appreciate it.
That. Yeah. And if you guys want to let us know what you think of the show and tell us, I don't know, if you're doing laundry while listening to our show, drop us a little note at natehasanhourtophil@gmail.com, and we will read your letter, possibly, depending on how horrible it is, on the air. So, and that could mean if it's really horrible, we will read it.
That's true. It can either be, on the air appropriate, or if it's so inappropriate, we'll read it anyway.
Yes. Maybe redact it a bit.
Well, that's true. We might wordsmith it when we read it back, but that's okay.
Well, now that we've gotten that out of the way, I kind of feel like we got to start right into the show because I know we're not going to have enough time to talk about today's subject.
Do we ever have enough time to talk about?
We don't, but we're really not going to today.
Okay.
So it's going to be very difficult for us, I think, to keep get everything in, but we're going to do the best we can. And with that, I'd like to introduce a fellow cartoonist, and I've been with this gentleman at the conventions I attend, and he's also a Ghostbuster cosplayer extraordinaire. He goes to events. He actually went to the premiere of the new film at one of the local theaters with his Ghostbusting group. And they all dressed up and ushered people to their seats, which is really awesome.
That's pretty cool.
Yes, and his name is Zach Martin of Zach Industries. Welcome, Zach.
Hi, thanks, guys. Thanks for having me tonight.
Yes.
I'm super excited to talk about Ghostbusters.
Oh, no, we're actually going to be talking about cleaning the floors of
great.
Of the film theater that you...
Yeah. Well, so part of our service is that we dress like Ghostbusters and we do janitorial work.
Exactly. Yeah, maybe you didn't realize...
I think you introed us wrong.
Sorry. I should have said...
And by cartoonist, you meant janitor.
Right.
I did.
And we're going to talk about like the mopping technique.
Right. Yeah. And how it's...
Always left to right. Never top to bottom.
It's humorous. It's cartoony, the way you clean floors.
Right.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
When we're done here, you have to clean this place.
My life is a joke, basically.
That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
No, that's all right.
Yeah. You live to be laughing stuff.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
Right. That's right. Well, to get started with our... Thanks you for being a good sport here.
Of course.
I actually wanted to get started with... before we get into the new movie, which is what everyone's talking about right now, the internet seems to be... Well, rumor has it.
Okay. There's a new movie?
No, there's not a new movie.
Yeah.
All I did was put on my Ghostbuster gear and go watch
that Finding Doors movie,
Independence Day regurgitation.
I made sure not to see
regurgitance.
But what I do want to do is get us started by kind of reminiscing about how we came to first know the original film, just because I feel for us three gentlemen, a trio of white Caucasian males living in the United States. I don't know why that has anything to do with anything, but that's fair. But it's, because the original film was about originally the three white guys.
The three white guys.
Yeah, I'm just calling it out what it is.
That's okay.
But I that part aside, we have a lot of memories, I think, associated with this film.
That's okay.
Oh, we have a drink to open up.
Yes.
Right. I'm so sorry.
I was going to say, in order to do that...
I forgot all about that.
I was going to chime in.
Thank you,
In order to do that, we need to...
I forgot all about the drink.
Well, shame on you.
I know, but I grabbed a green beverage so it would look like green slime. That was what the goal was. And
it does look kind of slimy, so let's hope it tastes better than it looks.
I don't really know who makes it. There's not really a very good... I guess Rummy is the name of the... It says, get chummy with Rummy.
I'm going to say, we're going to get chummy with it, so, it's and we're going to drink Rummy Grapefruit Soda. That's all natural. Apparently.
Made from pure cane sugar.
Yeah.
And has quite a lot of that cane sugar.
I was going to say it's got
49 grams,
50 grams of that all natural stuff. All right, well, I'm going to
go for it, Nate.
Use Pac-Man to open up the first bottle here.
Thanks, man.
Phil?
I'm excited.
Yes.
Waka waka. All right, sweet. And you can join us as well, Mr. Zach.
I was going to say, bring over that Superman cup of yours. Yeah. Cheers.
I'm being a square tonight and not enjoying grapefruit soda, which I love grapefruit soda, but my face
Man, this is really slimy.
Oh, yeah? Uh-oh.
That's all right. It goes down really smooth, though.
I don't know if it's slimy. It's actually...
No, it's actually very good.
It tastes a lot like Mountain Dew.
Kind of.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's got that same color bottle.
It does.
It's got the Dew bottle.
And by that I mean it's about as much sugar content as
Well,
Mountain
that's
Dew.
what I was going to say. If you mean the pure sugar content, then yes, it tastes like Mountain Dew. But, I mean, it's probably been over 5 years or so since I've had a Mountain Dew.
It's really good, though.
It is extremely good. And you're like almost halfway done, so you must
No,
really,
I've had 2 sips.
You must really like it.
Yeah. But it says, get chummy with Rummy. R-U-M-M-Y, grapefruit soda.
You know, Rummy's a great card game, actually.
Yes, it is. Yes. Good point.
It looks like a bottle from the 50s. Like, it looks like it's straight out.
It does kind of look like one of those,
That's what drew me to it.
Like one of those
Buy war bonds!
Yeah, that's exactly what drew me to it.
Today's podcast is brought to you by Rummy!
Put a little something in your tummy with Rummy!
And get chummy with it.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
You know, I can just see it on the shelf, you know, like 5 cent, you know, like one of those,
Oh,
you know, 10 cent
I
hamburgers and 5 cent, you know, sodas. And,
yes,
you know,
it fits very, very well in with that. But now that we got our sodas out of the way, gentlemen, and Zach, I think we should start with you. But
Okay.
I not to put you on the spot, but
That's
I'm
all right.
doing it.
That's
all right,
okay.
we're going to put you on the spot anyway, don't worry.
Yes.
Marvelous.
So basically, how did you get interested or drawn in? What was
Was that
the
a cartoonist pun?
It wasn't. Oh, nice.
Hey, I like what
I
you did
that.
there.
It was an accident. What I should have said was, what was the proton stream that pulled you into the franchise?
Missed opportunity.
Yeah.
I grew up on it.
Cool.
That's it.
That's it. Yeah.
I wasn't alive yet when the first one came out. Right. I'm
older than you.
Yeah, you are.
Oh,
That's okay.
okay.
No judging.
All
I'm
right.
30.
You're 30.
I'm 30.
Okay.
So
I'm
but
85.
I was a kid.
And I'm 12, just as, you know.
Well, Nate, that's why we have sodas on the show and not actual Rummy.
Wait, what?
We have Rummy because you can't have actual Rummy.
That's right. My tummy can't handle the Rummy.
That's right.
All right.
Anyway.
Mine can't either, and I'm a grown man, so it's okay.
Let's be clear about one thing here, Zach. Nobody here is a grown man.
Physically,
That's
I'm
true.
a grown man. I have an horrifying beard, and we'll leave it there. I've grown to the point of mountain man stature.
You know, you've got like that Karate Kid thing going on
thank you.
there.
Yeah,
and
it's just because my hair got long, and I just am too lazy
Actually,
and broke to get it cut now.
You said Karate Kid, and I'm going to echo something you said earlier off the air, which
Off
was
camera.
which was
We were filming earlier.
we were.
I was gonna say, but there's no cameras in here, is there?
Well, that you know of. But you were calling yourself Duck Dynasty. And
I got like
okay.
a really like a
All right,
Yeah.
good.
not
call.
scuzzy enough to have made the cut for that show. Although I don't know if any of your listeners are Duck Dynasty followers, and I don't mean to alienate people, but
Oh, I do.
Shame on you
Yes,
if you're
we
watching.
actually try to do that.
And if anyone from Duck Dynasty is listening,
Hi.
then
hello.
Heck yeah, our show has
Then,
gotten further than I thought.
Yeah,
Yeah,
marvelous.
Further than we thought. So
Yeah.
apparently, Backwoods USA is with Duck Call people is
Yes,
further than you thought.
I wasn't
I would
sure
like
if we
to
were
see,
going to reach those.
I would like to see the
those
Venn
lovely
diagram
people.
of Duck Dynasty watchers and Ghostbusters fans, because there's got to be some.
Well, there is a
Obviously,
rule
there's
about
some.
not crossing the streams, and I feel like that is already
Like a duck stream.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
okay.
stream.
Hey, that was
I
a
hadn't-
good one.
see, look at that.
See,
Yeah,
you're just
perfect.
walking into these, like,
Yeah.
just, you know.
I love it.
walk
I
to the
grew
bar.
I
Yeah.
grew up with it. Yeah, and I grew up with the cartoons, and I grew up Ghostbusters 2, just all of it. We had the toys, and my brother and I had the proton pack and a bunch of the other
awesome.
devices that don't make sense. There's a purple like a grabber, right?
Yeah.
It was like a claw grabber.
Yeah.
And it had a little missile launcher on the bottom, so you're like. Supposedly, how the technology would work in theory is that you would grab the ghost in this little like proton claw,
Yeah.
and then you would shoot it with a missile.
At close range.
Shut up, ghost! Yeah, at point blank range.
Yeah.
Right into his chest. So we had one of those.
It's
and,
more of the bully method.
The firehouse,
you
which I
were
still have.
Oh, do you?
And I did the show that you're about to do, right? Texas Comic Con. I did it a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Oh.
And
and you learned from your mistake.
So Ghostbusters story.
So I shouldn't be doing it.
I'm sure you have a great time. I had a great time. It was my first show I did as an artist. And Maurice LaMarche was at that show, who was the voice of Egon on the cartoon.
Yes, he was.
And
Really?
I knew he was going to be there, so I had made a print. I made an Egon, a real Ghostbusters Egon print, right? With the gold hair and the spit curl. And
for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, the real Ghostbusters was an animated series that ran up through 89. Or starting at 89? No, up through 89.
Ran through 89.
Yeah. And then, and led to the creation of the second movie. Just for those of you who don't know that.
Yeah. And I think it ran just slightly after the second movie.
Up to 90.
There are some Ghostbusters 2 references.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Are there really?
Once Dave Coulier took over for Lorenzo Music.
Yes. Formerly the voice of Garfield.
And then Bill Murray would later play Garfield.
Was it really?
Yeah. And then Garfield, and then Bill Murray played... So Bill Murray was Peter Venkman. Lorenzo Music played his vocal star in the animated series. Lorenzo Music also played Garfield the cat, but then Bill Murray played Garfield the cat in the live action.
Oh, they probably did that on purpose.
I'm
guessing, right? I would hope that wasn't a weird accident.
That's too much of a coincidence, I think.
Anyway, so I met Maurice LaMarche. I did a print for him, and he was super nice. I got to meet him. I had him sign one of the doors to my firehouse because I still have my
that's cool.
Firehouse, and so he signed a print for me, and then he also signed
did he sign it to scale? Or
no.
If it was real,
he signed it to Maurice LaMarche scale.
Okay, because I mean, if it was
his
actually
scale,
to scale,
it's a scale
to
door.
Yeah, right.
No, he's a busy man.
That's true.
But he was super nice. He was just a pleasure to talk to.
That's great.
So I met Dave Coulier, and I met And I met my wife was an opening act for a Dave Coulier show like years and years.
You're married? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I know, it's surprising. Like this beard says I'm not. This beard says I have a woman locked in my basement, but she's my wife.
Actually, your words just said that.
Also, I mean, yes, technically.
Yeah.
Yes. Also, and also not technically. I do. She's chained up.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah. So I met Dave Coulier, and I've met Maurice LaMarche.
Yeah.
And so now I have to meet Frank Welker.
Yeah.
Now that I can't meet the whole live action cast, right? I'm going to meet the whole animated cast.
There you
Minus Lorenzo Music, but I've met one of the Venkmans, so I guess it's okay.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Lorenzo Music.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Hey, that was the 2 seconds of silence.
Yeah, that's
okay. Marvelous.
That's what that was.
Well, that's great.
So I grew up on it.
So you grew up on it.
And yeah, and it somehow led me to dressing up like a Ghostbuster and raising money for charity.
That's just logical right there.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the obvious progression of man's childhood.
Yeah. Now, does your group have a name?
We're Ghostbusters ATX.
Okay.
That's right?
Yes.
For Austin, Texas.
Oh, that's what it stands for. Okay.
Right. So, yeah.
Thanks for
we've
spelling
been
that
together
out for us.
since 2012.
Nice.
Laura and I founded the group.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
How many members are there?
We fluctuate. So the first year we had about 12.
It's a lot
between here and San Antonio. Yeah, a ton. And then a lot of our members we noticed lived in San Antonio. And we were doing a lot more events in San Antonio. So by the end of that first year, we helped them just kind of form their own sister group.
Right, because if it's ATX, you really wouldn't want to be...
Right. Well, we kind of held claim to the whole Central Texas area because there wasn't a group out here. There's a Dallas group, there's a Houston group, there's a Texarkana group, there's an Oklahoma-Texas border group.
Wow.
There's a group in El Paso.
What?
Those are just the Texas groups. And now we just find out this last week that there's another Austin group. Called Lone Star Ghostbusters, and we've been talking to them on Facebook past week or so.
Talking smack?
No, just talking. We reached out to them and we're like, oh my god, we didn't know there was another group in town. And they have an Ecto. Like totally tricked out. It's very similar to the new Ecto, right? It's that kind of 80s hearse.
Yeah.
And they've kind of got the older roof rack on it for the most part. It's very cool. Yeah, it's super cool. And they seem like super nice folks. We can't wait to meet up with them.
Wow.
So Lone Star Ghostbusters also.
Very exciting.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't even know
Ghostbusters
you guys
ATX,
were out there. Like...
Ghostbusters SATX is San Antonio. And now Lone Star Ghostbusters.
They should just called it SA.
Yeah.
Well, it's
I don't know.
San Antonio, Texas.
San Antonio, Texas. They were, because they're our sister group, they kind of kept to...
That's okay.
The TX thing.
Right.
Yeah. We're sisters. We're sister groups. So, and then we dress up when we go to conventions and we raise money for charity. That's great.
Which charity do you...
So our first year we raised about $1,500 for American Cancer Society.
Wow, that's awesome.
Doing the Relay for Life.
That's great.
And
fantastic.
And then in the years since, we've actually been raising money and working with Safe Place, which is a women and children's shelter here in Austin.
Wow, that's great.
It's like a battered women and children's shelter.
Sure.
Get them out of safe place, right? So it gets them out of unsafe situations and put them up and get them resituated while they find a new healthy living situation.
That's fantastic.
That's amazing.
Families. So we've been raising money for them for the past couple of years now. Every time we go out to a show, and we do.
Well, that's great.
I think, in fact, our next show, I think that's probably who we're raising money for again.
Oh,
so.
Well, that's
but
awesome.
We're open to all sorts of stuff. But that's just who we've kind of adopted now as our local good cause.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Nate, do you want to talk about your your Ghostbusters origin story?
I was going to say, so where it all kind of originated. I remember actually, obviously I wasn't around when the animated series first came out, but I remember...
What? How old are you? Oh, you're in your 20s. That's right.
Yes, Phil. I'm not an old man like you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, but I will say, although
my inner Lovitz,
coming
out there.
That was good. You kind of brought it out there.
Yeah, it happens every once in a while. Anyway, go ahead.
Mazel tov. So I remember I have fond memories of my brother and I growing up. We would watch the because we owned them on VHS actually, and we would watch them periodically and watch the first movie when we were old enough to really know what it was about, and watch the second movie, and and so we've just always been fans, and it's always been kind of a movie that kind of like Jurassic Park with you. It's always really resonated just as like a solid movie, from our childhood that was just good casting, good acting, dialogue. I mean, hell, it's about ghosts, it's got Stay Puft Marshmallow Man,
right?
And so I mean, can't go wrong there.
I agree.
But I mean, I've always just been a fan. There's no elaborate, origin story there. I just grew up watching the cartoons and the movies and just loved it always.
Well, cool. I have an elaborate origin story.
All right, let's hear it.
So I grew up with, I don't know, I guess it's common now to have crazy cool channels on TV, but as a kid, if you had HBO, that was like...
Was HBO even around when you were a kid?
Yes. Well, this was after the crank and grind part of the TV.
Where you had to like slap it to make the static go away, and adjust the rabbit ears on top.
Yeah,
right?
you're headed there right now. I'm about to slap you and twist your rabbit ears. But so basically, my parents recorded an edited version of the film off of HBO. So I have a very cool origin story because I grew up memorizing the not real version of the movie. And when I was older and finally got to see the film, I picked up a copy like when it was re-released or something like that.
Right.
And I watched it. I was floored by some of the lines that were not the lines that I had memorized. And I don't know that they still do that anymore, that they record alternate takes for TV. I think they just like foobar it.
I was going to say they usually just remove,
right,
either profanity or something like that. Yeah, but they don't like provide alternate.
And this wasn't just alternate dialogue. This was alternate like filming. So in other words, so I'll give you an example.
Okay.
It's such a part of my childhood. I was memorizing the lines and reciting them because I was born in 81. The movie came out in 84. And so I was memorizing this thing at a very early age. But actually this is still hilarious. I had 3 buddies growing up down the street from me.
Oh, no way.
One of them was of Indian descent, so not African American, but hey, it worked. And the 4 of us got together to pretend to be Ghostbusters, which was, really appropriate. And it never actually transpired, but we were planning on making our own little film, and I had my dad's video camera.
Nice.
So the 4 of us were going to get together and make something. So it was in the works.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I don't have any like video proof of this, but I do remember us like discussing that because we were so into it. And I didn't have the toys growing up, for whatever reason, but my friend down the street, he did, and so I remember like playing with all the toys and watching the cartoon. But the film version I grew up watching, I still remember to this day, they go into the basement of the library, New York Public Library, and the bookshelf falls over, and Bill Murray says to Dan Aykroyd, "This happened to you before."
Oh, yeah.
And Dan Aykroyd shakes his head no, and Bill Murray goes, "Oh, first time." The version I saw was, I guess, cropped for TV, and you don't get to see Dan Aykroyd shake his head no. So it was,
so they literally edited out certain parts of the film.
It was just the way that it was, the aspect ratio of it was different. So things were cut off. Oh. And so I grew up assuming that Dan Aykroyd was saying no off screen, never seeing it. The same thing goes for the particle accelerator or unlicensed nuclear accelerator in the elevator line. I can't remember who it was. I think it was one of the guys. The way that they shot it, you can see all three guys standing in there. You couldn't see all three guys. The film actually like jumped back and forth. It was really strange. And then of course there's the lines.
The terrible days of pan and scan.
Right?
Too.
Pan and scan. Yes. Yes. And then there were some lines like when he calls Walter Peck a certain obscenity. Oh. In the version I grew up seeing, he called him Wally Wick.
What does that even mean?
I don't know. And then so he goes by Wally Wick here, and then he goes, "Is this true?" And Bill Murray goes, "Yes, it's true." Bill Murray?
Yeah.
Yeah, he goes, "Yes, it's true. This man is some kind of rodent. I don't know which." That's the line he uses.
What?
Yep. It's not a
That's
line
horrible.
from...
Truly bizarre.
Truly bizarre. Horrible. I don't know who Wally Wick is. I don't know if they were trying to make a cartoon rodent reference that doesn't make sense, but there was a few of those lines.
Because they couldn't say Mickey Mouse.
Maybe that's what it was.
Is that why?
Maybe that's what it was. Yeah. But
that's true. That's a good point.
So yeah, but since then I've just been obsessed. Oh, and I remember... I'd always said for years it was my favorite film. I remember going to Universal Studios as a kid, and they had a show. A live show. Did you see that show?
I've never gotten to see the show. Okay. I've watched video of it on YouTube now.
Yeah.
And people upload their family videos of it.
It is awesome.
Thank God for YouTube.
And what they've never shown on those videos, and I remember to this day, and I wish I would have taken pictures of it, but when you were waiting in the queue line for the Universal Studios Ghostbusters stage show, there were posters in the waiting area, and one of them had a list of all different classifications of ghosts.
No way, really?
So they had the class 5 full Roman vapor, and they had cartoon drawings, but they were kind of scary, creepy looking. Yeah. I wish I would have taken a picture of that.
Oh my goodness!
I don't know where
imagine coming across one of those on eBay.
I would love to see that.
Somebody has those.
I bet. Yeah. You think so?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, I would imagine so.
Well, those got auctioned off at some point.
You're probably right.
Or somebody was told to throw them away, or
and they were like, "I'm going to keep this."
Well, I don't have to own one. I would love to see one again, just to see what it was. But I remember seeing it, and I could be wrong on this, but there's no way for me to check it right now. I want to say all the ghosts were holding up like a sign that it was a mugshot.
Oh,
that's amazing.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So anyway, I love all these old. And I still have somewhere in here. It's buried in one of my bookshelf things. But I wanted to show you guys, and I couldn't find it before the show started. But I have a little 45 record from a cereal box for the Ghostbusters fan club when the second film came out, and it's still. I assume it still plays. I don't have a record player to play it on, but I went on YouTube. You can find it. You can find someone playing the recording, and it's a Ghostbusters fan club.
Huh.
Anyway.
Was it from Ghostbusters cereal?
It very well, I think it was. Yes. Yeah.
Good memory.
I don't know if that is still something you can buy on eBay, but I'm
don't
sure.
think so.
Why would you want to?
I mean,
the box maybe, but
yeah, I was going to say the
cereal.
But on that note, we're going to shift gears and talk about the movie, the new movie.
The new movie. You have to clarify that. That's
the new Ghostbusters movie. Well, it's been out for about a week now, because today is Wednesday.
All right, it's almost a week.
And Nate, you and I saw it on Thursday of last week.
We did, yes.
And Zach,
opening night.
I also saw it on Thursday.
Oh,
yeah.
Good.
We were opening night crew.
Well, I want to point out a couple things. How are we doing on time? Oh my goodness, we're already wasting time. So, I want to point out a couple things. Let's talk a little bit about, guys. I want to hear both your opinions about just really brief, because I want to get to the actual film. Some of the controversy around this new film, because the internet won't shut up about it, and I feel like we need to weigh in about it a little bit.
From what we've seen and read on the internet?
No, yes, from your impressions of what you've seen and read on the internet, and then your impression after seeing the film, do you feel like any of that holds merit? Okay. And what I'm referring to, for you listeners at home, if you've lived under a rock, is that the new Ghostbusters film features 4 female lead characters and a male secretary in a gender reversal, and it has caused so much uproar. Zach, you want to start off?
I was going to say, I'll let our guests start off.
Now I'm part of like a bunch of different Ghostbusters groups, right, on Facebook and all that, because like we all share prop building advice and ideas and all this, and so it runs deep. It runs as deep as you're willing to dive. It's a river of slime.
Yeah, that's right.
And that is what the internet has turned into over the course of this.
Look at that.
Like, it's an angry, hateful river of slime for the most part. It's really divisive, and it's divisive not just amongst general internet, but even within the fan culture, like the deep, like the cosplay fan culture. There has been a great divide. Where before it was the great divide of like if you were a Ghostbusters 2 fan or not, right? Like because a lot of people don't like Ghostbusters 2.
Right.
Because in a lot of ways it is just shot for shot Ghostbusters 1 again.
Yeah.
I mean it follows all the same, and not this episode, but
not today.
It was before all this. Won't go down. Before all this, that was the dividing line in the Ghostbusters.
Yes, mythos
and community, right? So now it's like those 2 are sacred, and this one is garbage, and you're garbage if you like it. Oh, you're garbage if you don't like it. And so there's a lot of that, and
there's a lot of garbage thrown around here.
A lot of garbage.
Well, we're all garbage, is what that statement just told me.
Well,
right, because if you like it, you're garbage. If you don't like it, you're garbage.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. So it's been difficult, but we just kind of like filter. I just kind of filter it out, and people. I don't. Well, I quote memes a lot, and I will quote this meme. I will say that haters gonna hate.
Yeah,
right. Pretty much sums up the culture around this right now.
It's fair to say that none of us.
I've been totally on board.
Women haters,
especially when Ramus died.
Yeah.
In 2014. That was it. I knew, for me personally, and I grew up not only with Ghostbusters, but Stripes and Vacation and Caddyshack. I grew up, like, everything I know
all great movies
about my comedy sensibilities are because my parents sat me down in front of Harold Ramis films. Right? So...
As good as it gets?
Oh, yeah.
That's a good movie, too.
Anyway, again, we'll have a Ramis episode if you guys want to do a whole Ramis episode. So for me, when Harold Ramis died, and when it happened, we were just wrecked, and I'm sure like it was for everybody.
Yeah,
we got our gear on that. After work, we got our gear on. We all met up at a bar. We had Miller's. It was Miller time, and then we went to the arcade and just played some games for a bit, specifically horror themed arcade games, and just we just had a really. Beautiful. It was a hard night for Ghostbusters fans. And for me,
it's a good way to celebrate his life.
Yeah,
yes,
and for me, because it's so much of my childhood and the relationship I have with both my parents is so heavily intertwined with watching his comedies. It was a huge part of my growing up.
Yeah.
It was almost like losing a second father.
Sure.
And my dad had passed away about 10 or so years ago now. And so when Harold Ramis died, it was like all those emotions kind of re-stirred again for me. It was like I don't normally get worked up over like celebrity deaths or whatever, but that one hit me on a deeper emotional level. And it was a hard night. So when they announced another Ghostbusters movie and it was finally happening, and I've been skeptical since I was old enough to be skeptical about another Ghostbusters movie.
Sure.
I've always, when people would ask us at shows, long before this was ever official, like even in 2012 when we started doing shows as Ghostbusters ATX, they'd, any word on when they're going to do a new Ghostbusters movie? And be like, man, you're what you know is as much as we know, and I won't believe anything until I see a trailer. And that's what I would tell people. Yeah. And then, when they finally announced that they were going to do stuff and they couldn't decide if it was going to be a passing of the torch or a reboot, for me, Ghostbusters, with everybody except Egon, would have been worse than just a whole reboot. And that's been my opinion the whole time. So I've been on board for the reboot. I know a lot of Ghostbusters fans who were just excited to see something done with the idea. And it's the idea, and a lot of us wear our own names on our flight suits, right? It's not that we try to cosplay as Ray or Egon or Venkman, and some people do have those names on there, but for the most part, we're all ourselves as Ghostbusters. And so it's a deeply personal thing where anybody, you know, if you want to dress up like Batman, you're Batman. If you want to dress up like the Flash, you're the Flash. And you're not anybody else, you're that. But you can be yourself as a Ghostbuster. Ghostbusters can be anyone. And I think overall, the positive side of the fandom has really taken that into account with the reboot idea. And been like, you know what? Yeah. Anybody can be a Ghostbuster, and we're on board to see.
That's a really good point.
See what can happen with that.
I really want to point out there, what you said there was very, very poignant, because I know there's some hate out there, some extreme hate out there, and it's unwarranted. And I know the three of us don't have any women-hating bones in our body.
No, not at all.
But I do want to say that I don't think Ghostbusters was ever trying to be putting women down from the beginning. It never, to me, when this came up, it was a non-issue. We were making an issue that wasn't an issue.
Right.
And, the only complaint I'm going to say about the female thing, because I have no problem with them being female whatsoever, but I will say part of me, I'm feeling less about this now because I know that director Paul Feig likes working with these particular women. He likes working with women in general. And if you hear a banging in the background, it's not a ghost, it's my cat.
Or it is a ghost.
I'll
take care of it after the episode.
It's a phantom.
It is. My cat named Phantom. That's a good point. But what I was going to point out was, you know, what I am against, I'm not against female Ghostbusters, but what I am against, and I do want to put this out there in general, I am against gender reversal for the sake of gender reversal. Because I feel like then you're pointing a finger at something that never should have had its finger pointed at to begin with.
Right.
In other words, by doing a gender reversal, it's like saying the original property was trying to be something cruel to a group.
Right.
And I don't think the original film was trying to put anybody down at all.
No, not at all.
So that's why I had a problem with the reversal. I felt like it was their way.
It was forced. It was kind of like
yes
to emphasized. Hey, you know, first it was 4 main characters and a female secretary.
Right.
Now we're going to, you know, make a big deal out of it and put 4 main female characters. And you know,
absolutely, that was the only reason I had a problem with. Honestly, if they had said we're going to have two female Ghostbusters and 2 male Ghostbusters, I would have preferred that because it would have been a way to include women, but not say, you know what, we're going to make this right by not including men.
Right, exactly.
That's my only statement on the male-female thing. But really, I don't care what sex they are. I really don't. Yeah. It doesn't really matter. Just don't do things because you feel like you have to prove something.
Yeah.
That's a weak argument.
Yeah, no, I agree. I've never ever had a problem, even from the first day that I found out they were doing a reboot with the whole gender reversal thing. I've never had a problem, you know, with any female, you know, main characters or, you know, having a male secretary. I mean, hey, you know what? That's fine. That's cool. So getting past the gender, you know, issues that I'm sure are mucking up the internet and all the review boards and stuff. I think that the movie itself was actually a pretty decent movie.
Yeah.
You know, I mean...
well, let's talk about the movie itself.
Yeah.
And in the interest of time, because I know we can go down so many different rabbit holes with this topic.
Yeah.
Why don't we just go around a circle and say, what do you think the best thing the film did is, and what do you think... let's not hate on the film, but let's just say, where do you think an opportunity, to use my old retail terminology, where when you have an opportunity to improve instead of you say something is bad. So what do you think the biggest opportunity that the film missed out on was, and what do you think the strongest thing that it did was? And we can start with Nate on this one.
Sure. Okay. So I'd say starting with what they did really well is kind of a two-parter, I guess. I really liked how they stayed, in my opinion, and everybody on this earth can disagree with me, but in my opinion,
that's a lot of people.
I'm just saying, you know,
you put the thought out there, and now,
so
now I have to disagree with you by definition of what you just said.
Well, you don't have to, but you could.
Well, you said everybody on this earth.
I said even if everybody on this earth disagrees with me, in my opinion, I think that this new movie stayed true to kind of the core values that the Ghostbusters story, kind of the feel of the Ghostbusters movie. Like, you know, I mean, obviously it was a modern twist with more special effects and, you know, and more CG and, you know, and all that. But I personally feel that it had a really good, like, it felt like a Ghostbusters movie to me personally. When I walked out of the theater, I felt like I saw a Ghostbusters movie. It didn't feel like I saw some, you know, modern remake of that was trying to be a Ghostbusters, you know, reboot or anything like that.
You feel like it was Star Trek.
What?
You feel like this was Star Trek in the sense that the newer Star Trek films feel like they're still Star Trek.
Yes, thank you. Yes, that's
even though they are definitely not the original Star Trek films.
They're not the original Star Trek, but I'm not gonna. This is not about reviewing Star Trek, but I will just say that the new movies are very well made. And I'm excited to see the one that's coming out next week, or this coming weekend, actually. It's this weekend.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, so part 2 of that is I love how they had cameos of a lot of the main characters from the original too. So,
of the cameos in the new
the new one, they had, you know, so that was good. So what I didn't like, and I thought that. And Phil and I had kind of discussed this after we saw the movie, and I'll reiterate this on
I've been
the air.
talking about this nonstop since last week.
I know you have.
With family, with friends, with enemies, people on the street who don't want anything to do with me.
Bump into someone on the sidewalk, you're like, dude, man, that Ghostbusters movie.
And now that might sound like an exaggeration, but it literally is not. I have been talking to random people I don't know and asking them if they've seen the film and talking about it with them. I'll call somebody, like an insurance person on the phone. Not really insurance, but I'm just going to say that.
When you get those solicitors that call you and they're like, hey, do you want the premium package? You're like, hey, man, let's talk about that later. Did you see the Ghostbusters movie?
Did you see the premium package that was the recent Ghostbusters film? Anyway.
That's right. Where was I? Oh, yeah. So the bad thing is I personally thought that the humor was too forced and over the top. And I feel like
what does that mean?
So the main characters are obviously they were chosen for many different reasons. Obviously, their acting ability and whatnot. But
I don't know about that one.
Well,
I'm kidding.
That's fair. But also because they all play a comedic role in their other movies.
They're good comedians,
right? Exactly.
Right.
And so that they put them in here, and I don't. So I thought that it was casted poorly in the sense that not that because they weren't good actresses, but because they were put in there. I feel that a large part of that decision was because they're comedians and they wanted to have this over the top comedy aspect to this movie, which I didn't like. I felt like it took away from the movie. I felt like all the jokes and one-liners and whatnot, like some were funny, you know, I'm not gonna lie, I laughed through some of the parts, but other times I just shook my head and it was painful.
So you're saying they took a shotgun approach to comedy?
Oh yeah.
Where something will stick.
That's right, exactly.
I would also, on that note, I would think, I honestly think that's a problem with modern comedy in general now. I mean, that's definitely a Judd Apatow effect to comedy.
Oh, absolutely.
It's just like, it's a family, like a Family Guy thing also. It's like, just keep saying things until somebody giggles. And it's like, remember this thing? We do too. And it's just like reference.
Right.
Yes.
And they're like, it's in your face. Yeah. It's like you're saying, shotgun, it's like a spray and pray, you know? I mean, they're just so much comedy, so many jokes and over half of them weren't even funny and didn't add anything. If anything, it took away from the movie. But all in all, I will say it was a good movie. I'm a Ghostbusters fan, so maybe I'm a little biased on that, but I thought it was you know.
I'm not sure the bias works to anyone's favor because you could say some of the people that are Ghostbusters fans.
Well, that's true. That's true. But I liked it. You know, and I'm a huge Ghostbusters fan, and
sure.
I thought that it was not a perfect movie by any means, by any stretch of the imagination, but I'd say with that, Zach, what do you think?
Yeah, you're the very last thing you said is a sentiment I definitely share. It's not a perfect movie by any means, and I can't honestly think of the last time I've seen a perfect movie, except for maybe the original Ghostbusters, not to harp. And we went in.
Yeah.
I went in. My wife went into this. We went into this with the mindset of we're going to put everything we know about Ghostbusters on a shelf, and we're going to lock that away. Mm-hmm. And this is going to be a new experience, and we're going to be open to a new experience, and we're just going to let it. If it does its job properly, it's going to take us on a ride of its own. So I love the ghost effects. I know a lot of people were complaining that it's like too Haunted Mansion-y, but okay, but that's where our effects are right now.
But I like the visuals,
and I like the visuals.
Yeah.
And like,
or Scooby-Doo, they compared to Scooby-Doo.
Scooby-Doo, Haunted Mansion. It was too cartoony, but like I grew up on the cartoon as well, and so that's fine for me. Mm-hmm. And if
you don't want it, then bring in Guillermo del Toro.
This movie to me felt a lot like a live-action adaptation of an episode of the cartoon in a lot of ways.
Which cartoon?
The real Ghostbusters. Okay. Or even Extreme Ghostbusters to an extent, which I also enjoy, and I know you just fell down a wormhole of that.
I just watched one episode.
Oh, okay. No.
I will watch more.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm not there yet.
So I really liked it. And any critiques I have on the film are like, really, they're nitpicky on a filmmaker level, not on a Ghostbusters level. There's things about the film that don't work because either Sony said, cut it for time, or make sure you get this scene in there because we want to make money on this brand deal. Like, for me, the parts that didn't work. So I liked it.
Oh, the brand deal. You just mentioned the brand deal.
Shoot! I forgot to mention that.
Yeah.
Well, I'll let Zach handle that one because he brought it up.
So,
I forgot all about
it. I did too.
Oh my gosh.
For me, all the parts that worked about the movie, and I would agree about the comedy to some extent. There's definitely a lot of like one-liners that fell short, and I wish they would have taken more time with some character development, especially like with the argument between Aaron and Abby. Like really showing us that
over
rift.
the book deal.
Yeah, because that setup I felt like was really strong and kind of could have propelled something really strong.
And a
reconciliation would have been a very great thing to see, but we didn't see a reconciliation. It was just like
they just sort of fell into
here's a Family Guy fart joke, and now we're all over.
Again,
is that a problem for Ghostbusters, or is that a problem for modern comedy and modern comedy audiences? That's a whole. The state of modern comedy is a whole different podcast altogether. So the one thing that for me didn't work actually were the cameos. The cameos and the callbacks, and it's nice to see those actors spiritually passing the torch with these cameos, and I think that's what that is. Right?
That was good.
No pun intended, but yes. But them appearing in the film and doing small cameos is kind of an indirect way of them passing the torch.
Yeah, but it's weird, isn't it? Because it's a reboot.
And at some point, I got caught up going, okay, I've seen Bill Murray, I've seen Dan Aykroyd. When are we going to see Ernie Hudson? Who else are we going to see cameos? So for me, part of it takes you. Yeah, and the statue is beautiful.
Yeah,
that was like, we were sitting there, and like I heard, me included, the whole audience when they revealed the bust of Harold.
Yeah.
Everyone went, ah, like it was just like everyone was just like sad and happy and relieved and just like we miss you all at the same time.
I agree.
So that was beautiful.
I was feeling that too.
Yeah. But then like Dan Aykroyd, his taxi driver.
I did not like that camera.
I liked it. I liked part of it. I didn't like part of it. Bill Murray, I liked part of it. I didn't like part of it. Annie Potts was hysterical.
I liked her cameo.
That she was she was exactly the same character, basically, in a different setting.
Yeah.
Great. So, but it takes me out of what's going on in the movie when I'm like waiting for the next cameo. Because after a while, there's too many. And also the same with the callbacks. When it's like, we said a thing just like that thing you like, huh? Remember the thing? We said it. And it's like...
So, like the Firehouse.
Right.
I would have loved... Yeah, Stay Puft. The Firehouse.
Slimer.
I loved the initial use of the Firehouse. When she's like, go to hell. When she hears the price. I loved it.
Yeah, that was
and if it had forever been right there and it didn't... Are we spoiler free or are we?
Oh, we can spoil.
Okay. We can spoil.
So at the end when they're like, give us the firehouse, I'm like, now you just want it because reference.
Right, exactly.
And like, okay, it'll be nice to see Ghostbusters fly out of the firehouse doors in the next movie in whatever the new ecto is, and hopefully it has the damn siren. Although it didn't bother me that it didn't have the siren, but like if you're gonna make all these other references and all these other callbacks, just use the siren. Just let that be your callback.
Right.
Make the car look different and give it the siren. I love the hood ornament though, by the way.
Yeah,
that was cool.
The ghost hood ornament, I love it. And I can't wait for somebody to make it so I can buy it and put it on my car. But yeah, the other callbacks, again, just a lot of them felt distracting. And for me, the strongest points in the movie were the points when they're just trying to do their own thing with the movie. And some of the jokes obviously don't line up. And there's a lot of things that kind of fall flat. But I went in wanting two things from this movie. I wanted it to be fun, and I wanted it to have some sort of charm to it. And I feel like, for me, it accomplished those goals. Mm-hmm. And it gets a high passing grade from me because not to say that I don't want to make it sound like I set my standards, like I didn't set my bar low.
Right.
But I went in with an open mind, and I just tried not to set a bar.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so whatever happened, good or bad, I was just going to take from as neutral of a standpoint as somebody in a khaki flight suit at the time can come out of it. Right. So I love that we got to see the progression of them, like making the equipment, and testing it. Yeah. That stuff was amazing. Yeah. Because you don't get to see that in the originals, right? And they don't make a point to make that a thing, really. There are a couple scenes where you see Egon tinkering in the background. Yeah. And those are scenes I for years never noticed or paid attention to. And then, like, in Ghostbusters 2, he's working on the slime tank when they're talking on the phone about Dana's apartment. And it's just like, I never noticed that before. Yeah, I agree. Like,
it's a sleeper scene.
Just to subliminally set those concepts up and then deliver later on. And I don't think this one had any of those, although I wasn't expecting any of that. I like that in the sequel, driven world that we live in now, where there's obviously going to be a Ghostbusters 2, regardless of how well it does for its overall run. Sony's going to put at least money into a second one, and then never more. I think they put a lot of money into Ghost Core and into.
We should talk about Ghost Core in a moment, even though we're almost out of time.
Go ahead.
All right, so Phil.
Well, we're gonna forego. I'm making a judgment call. We're gonna forego Would You Rather this episode because.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it's not this conversation's good enough without my crap question that I came up with. So I'm going to weigh in my 2 cents on the same thing you guys just talked about.
All right, go for it.
And honestly, we really could have another episode all about this. I feel like we didn't even scratch the surface at all whatsoever. But
I would agree.
But this is a great episode. So
we could revisit in like October for Halloween time.
We should do that.
Because if there's anything Ghostbusters don't have anything to do, it's in October. They're never busy.
Which, by the way, why would you release this movie in July? Anyway,
have no idea.
You should release it in June on the original release date.
I agree.
Or in closer to Halloween.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. But so here's my 2 cents on the whole thing. What I think they did really well, and I'm saying this because it was my one aha moment. I had one moment where I looked over at Nate and I whispered to Nate like, "Holy crap, that was really brilliant." It was the only point in the film where I felt like it was hitting brilliance. Now maybe that's saying too much because I do like a lot of the things with Holtzman, and I love the scene with the mannequins.
Oh, that was creepy.
That
was cool.
If they could have made the whole
actually
movie
creepy,
if the whole movie could have been as strong as that one scene, to me that was like the strongest scene in the film.
And Patty's reaction to it, it's like so real, just like
absolutely, it was appropriate. That scene felt like the film had legs to stand on in that moment, and I was actually given hope. That actually isn't the thing I was going to mention. No. The thing I was going to mention where I had my aha moment was when
this was the only scene in the entire movie that I actually saw Phil like his eyes lit up.
Yes,
like it was.
That's funny that you say that because I remember that happening. I remember feeling it. Was when they revealed the bad guy, which in my opinion was a whole nother episode because that guy, man. Anyway, when they revealed his master plan of using these fault lines, spiritual fault lines in the city.
The ley lines.
The ley lines. And here's why I thought that was brilliant. I am, I've always been somebody who enjoys writing. I'm not a screenwriter. I haven't done a lot of that. I've done a little bit of independent film stuff. But were I to write a story, and make a sequel to something, I think the best way to do that is to write a story that hits the same, feeling of what the original had in mind without directly copying it. And what I mean by that is, the ley lines felt to me like the Ghostbusters video game with the mandala.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it was brilliant. And for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, I'm going to real quick summarize what I mean by that. The Ghostbusters video game, which came out about
2009.
Yeah, 2009. Amazing, by the way. If you haven't played it, it has all of the original voice actors, meaning the actors from the original films, doing their voices. And it is, in many people's opinions, the third Ghostbusters movie because it ties 1 and 2 together and doesn't make 2 feel like it's just a washed up sequel because it ties them as if it's part of a bigger story.
Right.
It does for the video game. I think does for Ghostbusters what The Last Crusade does for Indiana Jones.
Ah, yes.
Okay. Yeah. And so I love the ley lines thing because it was like that feels very appropriate. It has the spiritual element. It is a good bad guy plot. I did not see it coming because they weren't hinting at it. So it was the most intelligent part of the film, in my personal opinion. The part that I think that was not great about that film, and this is a real kind of a general statement, I won't go too much into it right now, was I think comedy works best when you have a straight man. And to me, the world of New York City in the first and second Ghostbuster films, more so the first one, was New York City was New York City. It felt like they were in New York City.
Right.
I believe that the mayor was that kind of a bombastic guy. I believe the EPA guy was that bureaucratic so-and-so. Dana Barrett's character felt very legit. Everybody felt, for the most part, with the exception of like Rick Moranis, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying, for the most part, the characters and the world surrounding them felt very authentic. And the Ghostbusters themselves were the sources of comedy, and they were the source of we're handling the weird stuff. You want to look to us for the weird stuff. This new film, everything felt goofy. I couldn't take anything seriously, and it frustrated me to no end because I just felt like I didn't have anything I could rest on. And that bothers me because for me, comedy is funnier when you have something to compare it to. But everybody was goofy. The only reason why I think Holtzman worked so well was because she was so much her own brand of goofiness that nobody else was that kind of goofy. That character stood out. But I think the over the top stuff with the secretary was too much. Way too ridiculous. Much. Way overplayed. And I just thought the fact that the mayor and his assistant, you couldn't take them seriously at all. They didn't feel like true foibles. It just felt like bumbling idiots. So, I don't have a whole lot of faith when the threats are also goofy. That's my critique of the film.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I think, so I'm gonna. I know we're almost at time. I didn't get to say this.
Say it. We're going over because Ghostbusters.
That's exactly. That's
why we're going over.
That's right. That's reason enough.
Yeah.
Have a drink, Phil. All right. So so I didn't. Nobody else said it. So I'm gonna say it. And this is arguably a very small detail in the movie, but it pissed me off to no end.
Slow down. Chew your food.
It pissed me off to no end. Chew on those words. When they were eating pizza at their base of operations, and they're in New York City.
And let me ask you, Nate.
I didn't even think about that.
Ask you, were they eating Famous Ray's original pizza?
No.
Or were they eating anything that was New York?
No, they weren't even eating New York style pizza.
What were they eating, Nate?
I'm gonna raise my voice because this pissed me off to no end.
Yeah.
They were eating Papa John's pizza in New York City.
Yes, they were.
What the heck?
Yeah.
That's fairly sacrilegious.
Horrible taste.
Yeah, that was a blow.
I was like, I looked at that about jumped out of my seat. Phil had to hold me down. I was like,
Nate,
I didn't even think about it, like, because there's product placement in the other movie.
Sure, I understand
obviously.
branding, but come on.
I never thought of the fact
Square.
that you're in New York,
Square
not eating New York pizza.
Did you notice that New York had Sony?
It was Sony
but
all over the
that's
Blu-rays.
the Sony method. Spider-Man's full.
All the Sony movies have Sony branding, but oh my god,
everyone uses a Vio. No one's ever heard of Macintosh before. Right. Whatever. I'm not a Mac fan.
You know, and it's funny now because if Sony makes a movie with a laptop, they can't use Vio anymore. They sold the rights to that.
Right.
So I'm gonna.
There we go.
Now we have to.
Good.
Maybe that's going to cover the logo of you know. But anyway, I wanted to get really, really riled up on that one little detail because
that's amazing.
It's just not a little detail.
It's
calling it famous. If they would have bought Famous Ray's, Ray, how appropriate would that have been?
That would have been funny. You know, I mean, even something that was generic, you know, and said New York pizza. I mean, you know, come on, guys. That was just like that was like the cherry on a really bad sundae. Yeah. Like it was just.
I kind of wish they would have stayed in the Chinese restaurant instead of going to the firehouse. Because
that was so interesting. That was also interesting to me. Like again, because it was doing its own thing.
Yeah, I agree.
The whole thing with the dumplings. That was
the wontons. You mean?
Or the wontons? Yeah.
I mean, the wonton thing was
that joke. That was fun with me.
I liked it.
So I through my theater classes and just like again everything I know about comedy.
Yeah.
The rule of repeating a joke is you don't repeat a joke. You do the joke once and let it stand.
Right.
You do the joke 3 times because things are funnier in threes.
The second time is not so good, but the third time makes it good.
You do the joke 1,000,000 times to the point of absurdity.
Yes.
And it only works once, 3 times, or 1,000,000 times, or leading up to 1,000,000 times.
Agreed.
Right.
Yeah.
And I feel like the wonton joke hits on that note.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was the 1,000,000 times.
Yeah. And then when she opens it up and it's 1,000,000 wontons in a container, that like sells that joke.
She freaks out.
Yeah. And why couldn't they have done about it? And she was like,
why couldn't they have done more jokes? Why didn't they write more jokes instead of riffing funny things?
Right.
Because it didn't feel like the characters were telling the jokes. It felt like these were one-liners that this person's standing here.
All right, that's what I was saying.
Back to your straight man point. It's like in the trailers, I think a lot of us were under the impression that Kristen Wiig was going to be the straight man of this film, and I was excited. Because I love her, and I've been watching a lot more, like, she's in a lot of indie stuff lately, where she is, just like, it's not comedy stuff, and she's doing a lot of, like, indie dramatic pieces you can watch on Netflix, and she's really great.
She is.
And comedians often make the best dramatic actors, too, because you have to be so vulnerable in comedy to open up just a weird part of yourself for people. So I thought she was going to be more of a straight man. And even in the beginning where they set up that she's mad about the book. And it's like, yes, she's going to be pissed and it's going to take a lot to reconcile.
She's going to be the anchor
and she's going to be like, oh, God, this is ridiculous. And even when she sees the ghost, how is she going to make that like, she's like, all right, this is real and I'm going to be I'm going to believe in it and still be credible. But then it just was like, she, even past the point of the initial shock of seeing the ghost, she's as off the rails as everybody else. And really, for what it's worth, Patty was the straight man more so than anybody else.
Yeah. Which so was Winston, if you want to compare it.
That's true.
If you want to go the race way. And
well, I mean...
not you. I'm saying.
I mean, well, you have to have the everyman character.
How are we going to ignore? How can we ignore that they changed the race or they changed the sex, but they kept the race ratio?
Right, they kept the 3 white to 1. You know,
and by the way, that is why I made my comment earlier about how this felt like a gender reversal for the sake of it, because they kept the race ratio the same.
Yeah.
If it had been like, you know, some, I don't know, Asian gal and a Native American gal or Latino, I don't think I would have made the same thing about, well, this is just a gender reversal.
Right.
I would be like, okay, fine, you're trying to really diversify it up. This felt like a gender reversal because they kept 3 white and 1 black. And I'm sorry, but how are we going to ignore that?
Yeah, that was very forced and very on purpose. And, and like you said in the beginning, it just takes away from kind of the.
It took away. It felt like it had an agenda, and I don't like when a comedy, especially, has an agenda.
Right. Exactly.
Don't preach to me in your comedy film.
Right.
Leave that for the documentary or the Michael Moore film or like. Don't get on your high horse about anything when you're telling me a good story. Just tell me a good story. And I think Zach and I have had this conversation at our conventions we go to is storytelling versus versus fan art. It's a whole other night. We're not going to right now.
I was going to say, that sounds like a slippery slope. Let's not.
It is a slippery slope, but there's the undercurrent of fan based stuff. In the Ghostbusters recent news is very strong.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's because there's so much on the horizon that, I mean, I think people are just getting really giddy about, what's to come. So not only the
Ghost Core thing.
Well, yeah, the Ghost Core thing, because it's not only a sequel, which obviously is going to happen, but they're just going to do this whole Ghostbusters universe that...
For those of you guys who don't know, we were talking about...
Sony wants to open up this can,
Yeah, so. Sony wants to create a cinematic universe. Sony and Dan Aykroyd, I guess.
Yeah, he wants to be a
cinematic universe, just like Marvel has.
Yeah.
Because nothing says...
I'm on board.
Yeah, I am too.
Honestly, for me, I'll suffer the same way I suffered through the Star Wars prequels. And it took me a long time to divorce Star Wars. And then I would say Force Awakens. Is that what it's called?
Yeah. The newest 7?
The newest, 7 won me back a little bit. Yeah. Cautiously optimistic I was going into that one.
That's a good one.
That was a good Yoda way to say that.
Yeah, unintentionally.
That was really weird.
For a while, it's going to take a lot more than this movie to lose me. And even through the flaws of this movie.
Yeah.
And the flaws of the fandom in general. Keep slapping that logo on things. I'll keep going and watching it.
And I think
don't get me wrong. I'm not complaining about it.
I'm excited for the cartoon.
Yeah. No,
I wish it was a little... What I'm actually more disappointed about is that they announced that they're going to do another animated series. Ghostbusters Ecto Force.
And an animated movie.
Okay. Yeah. And it takes place 50 years in the future. In 2050?
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
And it has... I guess it's... From the sounds of it, it's going to be like a Batman Beyond kind of thing for Ghostbusters, right? So I don't know if they're going to, involve the characters from this movie in any way. Again, passing the torch in an extreme Ghostbusters kind of way. What I want to see is the new real Ghostbusters with these new characters. I want to see more cartoon adventures of Holtzman and Patty and I want to see those adventures. I don't want to get to know
Quit
new
Ghostbusters
again.
Right, exactly.
Yes.
I just want to see Ghostbusters that I know and like now.
It just feels
that's what I want to see.
It feels like Hollywood thinks the only way to make something work is by having an origin story every single time.
Right.
God,
and you don't need to recreate it. They did a reboot with these women and I'll say with this cast. Let me just put it that way.
Yes.
I think, I'm just going to mirror what you guys are saying, when they go the route of the new animated series and new animated movie, I really hope they just stick with that, because we already know them, and whether we love them or hate them, it doesn't matter.
Yep.
We already know them. We've seen them on the big screen. Just stick with their personalities and maybe have them do the voice acting, whatever. But
the second Turtles movie was an improvement. I think,
it was
over the first Turtles movie. Yeah. So if they can do that here, and it might make people look more fondly on this Ghostbusters once the second one does a better follow up. Yeah, it's possible. I do want to point out I don't have a problem with a cinematic universe for Ghostbusters. I just want to say it's frustrating that, because Marvel made it work, everybody thinks they have to go.
Right, yeah. DC jumped on. It was like, we're going to do something, and now Sony's like, we're going to do something, but around one story.
Property.
Yeah, not around...
because they can't handle anybody else's properties, and they're like, oh, what's the last thing that we own completely? I guess we'll try it.
It's sad.
All we can.
Yeah, well...
But on that note...
go ahead. I would... sorry, I know we're running...
We are over.
Already very much over. It's okay.
So there's the talks of, Sony wants to do a crossover of Men in Black and 21 Jump Street.
Oh my god!
Right? I don't know if you.
I knew that.
I wouldn't mind sitting through a Ghostbusters Men in Black crossover instead, or a 21 Jump Street Ghostbusters crossover.
I could see the Men in Black crossover, but I don't think I would sit through the 21 Jump Street.
I don't know.
But hey,
I've never watched 21 Jump Street. So.
I like the first one. I didn't see the second one.
Okay,
and I'm not super sold on Channing Tatum or Jonah Hill. But that movie, the first one...
Yeah, I'm not sold on either of them. And both movies I thought were mediocre at best, but that's just my opinion. So if they
just
did a
generic action comedy.
Yeah, it's just generic. I mean, there was nothing special. They were funny, but,
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm gonna give one closing remark for this Ghostbusters cinematic universe.
Yes.
I am extremely excited about the potential that this has.
Yeah, it's a lot of potential.
And I just hope they run with it in a good direction.
Yeah.
And they don't fumble the ball and just, put crap on the big screen, and because oftentimes what happens is they try to compete, which is what they're doing clearly with this cinematic universe. They're trying to compete, and so I hope they do it, in a classy way where they keep it their own. You know what I mean? That they keep the Ghostbusters feel to this universe, and just keep up the quality. That's all I'm going to say. So.
Or maybe add quality.
Well, don't go any lower than where they're at right now. Right. Well, so. But,
good. And I agree with that. I wholeheartedly echo that. And what I want to throw out there before we leave here, for Zach, because Zach, a little birdie told me, because we talk about Sony a few here and there tonight. We didn't go into as much of Sony hating as I really wanted to go into.
But again, is that a whole nother podcast?
It could be
because the problems with Ghostbusters are I feel there's more problems with the way Sony conducts business overall.
Yes, but you do have a positive thing to say about Sony in how it relates to your cosplay events and how they treat you guys.
Oh, okay. So Ghost Corps, right? They Ivan Reitman and Dan Aykroyd and Sony developed Ghost Corps for whatever reason to build the Ghostbusters cinematic universe, which again I agree. The phrase cinematic universe makes me cringe to the point of soiling myself. I'm so tired of hearing the phrase cinematic universe.
It's overused.
But I'm super on board to just slap that Ghostbuster logo on everything.
Agreed.
I'm ready for more. After 27 years, it's time for more Ghostbusters stuff.
Yes.
Good or bad, I'll take all of it right now. I mean, I bought a box of Twinkies because it has this stupid logo on it. Right? Like,
man, that's Die Hard. That's like, Die Hard.
I'm in it to win it right now. Yeah.
That's right. For $3.25.
I'm in it to win it right now.
A can for $3.25.
So they formed Ghost Corps, and they did a really cool thing with Ghost Corps where they sent out basically an open letter to all of the cosplay groups. So, in the spirit of, again, pun intended this time, in the spirit of Ghostbusters, so like with the 501st, with the Star Wars costumers, they're battalions and legions, and they follow like a military rank and file kind of fantasy, right? And they're recognized by Lucasfilm. Like whenever Lucasfilm needs to film up a Disney or a Star Wars commercial or whatever, and they need people in costumes, they call local members of the 501st, because why would we build a stormtrooper costume for this commercial when we have all these people who are doing that work for us?
Who want to be on TV.
Exactly.
And they they're excited to show off their hard work. And so in the Ghostbusters community, we call ourselves franchises, right? Because in the first film, it says the franchise rights alone. So in line with that, Ghostbuster fan clubs are often referred to as franchises. So they Ghost Corps put out an open letter to all the Ghostbusters franchises worldwide. And they sent out a URL for their Ghost Corps website, and you would click on this link, and it says basically you filled out a form for your fan club, and you became an official registered member of Ghost Corps.
Like they recognized you.
They recognize you as an official Ghostbusters franchise under the Ghost Corps, and they sent us lapel pins that say Ghost Corps Cadet.
Really?
So like we have like lapel pins. I should have worn it tonight.
You should have. Is the same logo that was right before the movie started?
Yeah. It's the Ghost Corps logo, and then underneath it says Cadet. And,
wow, that's kind of cool.
I'll wear it for the next Ghostbusters.
Very official.
Yes. I'll come in gear next time.
Oh no, it's too hot in here for that.
I was going to say you'd be dying.
It's worse.
In October,
the conventions are terrible.
In October, might be okay.
Yeah. So they sent out this call that says if you want your franchise to be an official Ghost Corps franchise, just fill out this form and we'll get back to you. And they sent us a certificate. I've got it in my living room.
That's awesome. That is very cool.
Ghostbusters ATX, and it's signed by Ivan Reitman.
What?
Awesome. Like hand signed. Like he's signed every single one of these.
Really?
And they sent us the pins.
That's awesome.
And it's like embossed.
Yeah.
And so it's official. It's a certificate. It's like I don't know.
That's very official.
Yeah. Which is very cool.
That's
and then
amazing.
Leading up to the premiere, the Hollywood premiere a couple weeks ago, beginning of this month, beginning of July, basically, they sent out an invitation. So we now get, I'm going to pull back the curtain, right? We get some official Sony emails now where they'll be like, hey, there's a Ghostbuster event in your neighborhood. Are you guys available to set something up? We'll get you in touch with the event coordinator, right?
Huh.
So like if they know, like with the rescreening back in June, they're like, hey, we know that the screening's coming up. If you need help getting in touch with the theater so that you guys can do an event, let us know. We'll get you in touch with a list.
Did you go to the
contacts.
rescreening?
I didn't personally, but we had Busters at the South Lamar
Cool.
Alamo here in town.
Oh,
I gave
nice.
them a plug.
Nice.
But yeah, so we had people out for that, and then they sent us an invitation to the Hollywood premiere. Now they didn't put us up, they didn't fly us out or anything, but they said if you can get out here
Right.
for the date, you have to be in gear. We want you at the premiere. We want you there in gear. We had members from our San Antonio sister group and Dallas, and I think a couple Houston people, but like the whole Dallas group, they drove one of their Ectos down.
Oh,
and
that's cool.
Which is a really cool Dodge Magnum station wagon that's all souped up. Very cool. So they made a huge road trip of it. We had a few of the San Antonio members who flew out and flew their gear out and went, and then they did like a big Papa John's catered a pizza party. But it's in Hollywood, right? So there's no good pizza in Los Angeles anyway.
No.
But if you're gonna make those kinds of deals, at least they fed a bunch of Ghostbusters
That's true.
and had a big pizza party, and they all got to see the premiere. And they got to several of our San Antonio brothers and sisters were actually along the green carpet. Even like they got there a little late, and by the time they were like filling in those like right along the velvet ropes, they're like, all right, get over here. And so Dallas and San Antonio are both like on the green carpet. They did like the green slime carpet. And they're all along the green carpet. And I guess they all got to take like a little square of the carpet home with them too.
That's cool.
Several of the Dallas guys are like holding up.
That's awesome.
Squares
that
of
is
carpet.
very
They got to watch
cool.
the premiere in all their gear and meet like the whole cast and
wow.
and everything
What?
and take pictures.
They got to meet the cast.
Yeah,
and
it
everything?
was a super awesome thing. Yeah. And so that's been really great. So we're
That
like
is
officially
awesome.
recognized
All right.
by.
Well, props to
by-
Sony for doing
so
that.
I think
you
that's
know.
worth a shout out to
And I'm
them.
sure there's
Yeah.
going to be haters on the internet who write like, "Oh, this is their way of paying off fans for good critiques of the film." There's going to be those kind of like
right.
Well,
internet
those people don't
mush
really like
mouth
themselves very
skeptics.
much.
Yeah, they don't like anything,
They don't-
and
they
that's
don't-
fine.
They don't enjoy life.
So
Did you have anything you wanted to anything you wanted to mention about like where people can learn how to make their own costume?
Oh yeah, there's all sorts of resources out there. And it can be kind of daunting to look. One great resource, for better or worse, it is a forum, so you're going to get a lot of forum people. For better or worse, but gbfans.net is a great resource for like prop build, like blueprints for props and like how-tos on your costumes. My group is on Twitter and Facebook. Just look up Ghostbusters ATX on Facebook and Twitter, and then and so we can help kind of point you in the right direction with like more details if you like, and we're going to be at Classic Games Fest at the end of July here in Austin, Texas.
Awesome.
July 30th and 31st, so just a week and a half away or something like that.
Yeah.
And so we're going to be there taking pictures with people, raising money, probably for Safe Place again.
Cool.
And this is our third or fourth year doing that convention, and we love it.
I will sorely miss
And
you.
yeah, you're going to be at a
in
show
San Antonio
too. And then also follow at Negative Zach on Twitter. That's me.
At Negative Zach.
At Negative Zach, all one word.
How do you spell Zach?
ZACH.
Okay.
It's short for Zachary.
All right.
A lot of people want to add a K there, but you're wrong. And thank you guys so much for
Zach,
inviting me.
Thank you so much for being here.
This has been a pleasure.
I just realized that the title card for this episode, I took the no ghost symbol and put has an hour, and I put that around it.
Right.
No hour, so we went over.
So I think it's appropriate that we went over the hour.
I've got a show and
It
tell.
wasn't an
for you guys
hour, it
also.
was
Oh yeah.
I didn't bring a pen, or I didn't. Of course, I should have worn the ghost coat.
Yes,
pen,
that would be really cool.
I got this.
Oh,
put your pants back on. Oh.
I've got Paul Feig tattooed on my penis.
Oh, okay.
No.
Well,
But you were just saying. I know.
Oh God!
I wasn't aware he was such a short man.
Yeah.
No, your arm has the ghost.
I've got it
symbol
etched
on it.
into my
Ghost
skin
symbol.
for life.
That is
awesome.
crazy.
This was
was fantastic, too.
before we started playing dress up. My wife got me this as a Christmas present.
You mean the Ghostbusters dress up?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, all of it.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah.
Nice,
well, that's
Phil.
awesome.
Yeah, that is very cool. If that doesn't say Die Hard fan right there, I don't know what does.
I agree.
I mean, that's.
I love your shirt. I have to call out your shirt,
you.
man. You got a Jurassic Park themed shirt.
Yeah, thank you. tpublic.com/Zach Industries.
Oh, wait, what? How do you spell? Say that again. tpublic.com.
tpublic.com/XAQ Industries.
XAQ, which is Zach Industries.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a Velociraptor.
I just worked in an extra plug.
With glasses.
You did. It's a Jeff Goldblum inspired.
Jeff Goldblum as a raptor.
Saying life finds a way.
Yeah. That's very, very Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, I'm just reading what his shirt says. It looks fantastic.
That's very in character from him.
Thank you.
I
I watch that video.
Yeah.
Once a week at least. That's a bad day video. You have a bad day, you watch
watch the laugh from
Malcolm laugh song. Yeah, done.
And here I am now by myself talking to myself.
Talking to myself.
And that's chaos.
That's great.
Well, guys, I have to wrap this episode up. We are an hour and a half just about into the show, and thank you so much if you stayed with us all this time. Please let us know what you think at natehasanhourtophil@gmail.com or in the comments section below this video on YouTube. Also, we've had a number of requests for doing a video version of this show. I don't have all of the equipment ready yet, but if you do think you would like to have that form of show instead of an audio show, let us know what you think. It will take some finagling on my part because I'm going to have to invest in some equipment. But I'm game if everyone else is game.
Yeah, I think that. I think that's a great potential idea. I mean, the demand is there. I mean,
it means I have to wear pants. But
I know that's going to be something that we'll have to figure out.
We got to take one for the team once in a while. But until next. Next week.
Yeah.
Until next episode, guys. This has been Phil Maki and Zach Martin. Welcoming and thanking him for being here.
Absolutely.
And also, of course, Nate Heberlein.
All right, guys. It's been a blast. Until next time.
Have a good one.
Bye.